The Rajputs were a major power in the history of India and they frequently clashed with the Mughals. Hello and welcome to UPSC History View. Today, let's learn how the Rajputs influenced the history of the Indian subcontinent. Rajput, from Sanskrit Rajaputra, which meant son of a king, any of about 12 million landowners organized in patrilineal clans and located mainly in central and northern India, were especially numerous in the historic region of Rajputana, or the land of the Rajputs, that also included portions of present-day eastern Pakistan. The Rajputs regard themselves as descendants or members of the Kshatriya or the warrior ruling class, but they actually vary greatly in status from princely lineages such as the Guhilot and Kachwaha to simple cultivators. Most authorities agree that successful claim to Rajput status frequently were made by groups that attained secular power. Invaders from Central Asia as well as patrician lines of indigenous tribal peoples were probably absorbed in that way. There are numbers of Muslim Rajputs in northwestern India and eastern Pakistan, and Rajputs generally have adopted the custom of parda, seclusion of women. Their ethos includes an intense pride in ancestry and a mettlesome regard for personal honor. They seek hypergamous marriages, that is, a bride marrying into a social group higher than her own. The Rajputs' origins seem to date from a great breakup of Indian society in the northern and northwestern Indian subcontinent under the impact of Hephthalites or the White Huns and associated tribes from the mid-5th century CE onward. Following the breakup of the Gupta Empire in the late 6th century, invading groups were probably integrated within the existing society, with the present pattern of northwestern Indian society being the result. Tribal leaders and nobles were accepted as Kshatriyas, the second order of the Hindus, while their followers entered the fourth, Shudra or cultivating, order to form the basis of tribal castes, such as the Jats, the Gujars, and the Ahirs. Some of the invaders' priests became Brahmans, the highest ranking caste. Some indigenous tribes and clans also attained Rajput status, such as the Rathors of Rajputana, the Bhattis of Punjab, and the Chandelas, Paramaras, and Bandelas of central India. Rajput ancestry can be divided between Surya Vamshi, or the house of the sun or solar people, or those descended from Rama, the hero of the epic Ramayana, and Chandra Vamshi, house of the moon or lunar people, or those descended from Krishna, the hero of the epic Mahabharata. A third group, Agnikula, family of the fire god, is a group from which the Rajputs derive their claim to be Kshatriyas. Rajput habits of eating meat except beef and other traits suggest both foreign and aboriginal origins. The Rajputs emerged into political importance as early as the 7th century. From about 800, Rajput dynasties dominated northern India, and the many petty Rajput kingdoms there were among the main obstacles to the complete Muslim domination of Hindu India. In the early 1020s, the Rajput rulers at Gwalior and Kalinjar were able to hold off assaults by Mahmud of Ghazna, present-day Ghazni in Afghanistan, although the two cities did pay him tribute. After the Muslim conquest of the eastern Punjab and the Ganges River Valley, the Rajputs maintained their independence in the fastnesses of Rajputana and the forests of central India. Sultan Ala al-Din Khalji of Delhi, who reigned from 1296 to 1316, took the two great Rajput forts of Chittor and Ranthambore in eastern Rajputana but could not hold them. The Rajput state of Mewar under Rana Sanga made a bid for supremacy but was defeated by the Mughal emperor Babur at Khanua in 1527. Babur's grandson Akbar retook the Chittor and Ranthambore forts 1568-69 and then made a settlement with all the Rajputana princes except Mewar. Accepting Mughal overlordship, the princes were admitted to the court and the emperor's privy council and were given governorships and commands of armies. Some Rajput nobles further strengthened their ties with the Mughals by arranging marriages between their daughters and Mughal emperors or their sons. The Rajput-Mughal arrangement continued into the early part of the Emperor Aurangzeb's reign 1658 to 1707, but eventually the emperor's intolerance turned the Rajputs against him, and the ensuing conflict between the two sides became one of the several factors leading to the collapse of the Mughal Empire itself in the 18th century. The Rajputs subsequently fell victims to the chiefs of the Maratha Confederacy until they accepted British suzerainty in 1818 at the end of the last Maratha War. After India's independence in 1947, most of the Rajput states in Rajputana were merged to form the state of Rajasthan within the Indian Union. Thank you for listening to this discussion on the Rajputs. For more such discussions, get the UPSC Practice app from the App Store.